Hello sir, I am Arpit Kumar Jain, roll number 9. I will be discuss research paper on effect of ammonia and ammonium compounds on wet limestone flue gas desulfurization or WFGD process from a coal-based power plant. It is a preliminary industrial scale study and this article published in Science Direct Journal. Authors of this paper are Thomas and Renata. Okay, coming to introduction part. So power generation from coal combustion comprise a majority of electrical energy produced worldwide with a share of 38.1% in 2017. Such coal-based power plants have to comply with stringent and steadily tighten emission limits, mainly focused on sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxide, NOx, dust concentration, and mercury. The removal of molecule, nitrogen oxide molecule is carrying out is either selectively catalytic reduction (SCR) or selectively non-catalytic reduction (SNCR) methods. Both are based on NOx reduction to molecular nitrogen with the use of ammonium gas, which is commonly obtained from thermal decomposition of ammonia, water, or urea. Both SNCR and SCR technology are associated with a stream of unreacted ammonium called the ammonium slip, which is more prevalent in the former than later. In wet limestone scrubber, the majority of ammonia slip is absorbed in the limestone gypsum slurry and is present as ammonium ion, whose effect on flue gas desulfurization process is through the to be positive due to increase of efficiency of SO2 removal. So value of pH is critical parameter in the control of limestone dissolution and gypsum formation. In this present study, a review of available information on the effect of ammonium or wet limestone flue gas desulfurization WFGD is. Now let's talk about source and forms of ammonia. First question arises in mind is from where this ammonia or ammonium ion comes in WFGD. The ammonium is present in the flue gas in gaseous form or the form of particulate matter composed of ammonium salt. Presence of ammonium compounds is caused by the operation of a denitrification system DENOX. So for removal of this nitrogen oxide, we have three main processes: selective catalytic reduction (SCR), selective non-catalytic reduction (SNCR), and ammonium salt and particulate matter. So coming to selective catalytic reduction, the principle of operation for the SCR system is based on reactions of nitrogen oxide with gaseous ammonia or urea to produce molecular nitrogen and water. You can see the first three equations are reaction of nitrogen oxide and last two equations are reaction of urea. 90% of the nitrogen oxides in the flue gas are present in the form of nitrogen oxide NO. So reaction 1 to 4 is dominant. The reducing agent is injected into the flue gas upstream. The catalyst with the typical industry vanadium titanium catalyst is operating at a temperature window between 300 to 450 degrees Celsius. To achieve good NOx removal efficiency, mixing of ammonia with flue gas is essential. At a high ammonia to NOx ratio, greater NOx removal efficiency can be achieved, but the amount of unreacted ammonia can increase considerably. So coming to selective non-catalytic reduction SNCR process. SNCR is based on direct urea or ammonia water injection to the boiler combustion chamber, and the reduction of nitrogen oxide with ammonia is strongly temperature dependent. The optimal temperature range for the SNCR is between 800 to 1100 degrees Celsius. Above this temperature range, ammonia is oxidized and nitrogen oxide are formed is at an increased rate as shown in equation 6. Below this range, the reaction rate is inhibited and unreacted ammonia is present in the flue gas stream. You can see the difference between ammonia and urea. In this diagram, urea solution droplet are introduced to the combustion chamber do not react immediately. Water evaporates first, leaving a droplet of solid urea that decomposes into NH2 species radical. Another parameter influencing the NOS reaction efficiency is the carbon monoxide concentration. High CO concentrations were shown to lower the optimal reaction temperature. Lowering the reaction temperature would seem beneficial. However, it is though the CO competes for the hydroxyl free radical that are required for NH3 to be converted into radical NH2 and NO to be converted to NO. This you can see in equation 7 and equation 8. So our next process is ammonium salt and particulate matter process. The excess ammonia may directly form ammonium containing particles in the flue gas. Commercially, vanadium based SCR incorporates vanadium oxide V2O5 that also enhance the oxidation of SO2 to SO3 in the flue gas. So SO3 reacts with water vapor forming a mist of sulfuric acid, which is then reacts with gaseous ammonium to form ammonium sulfate salt. Ammonium sulfate and ammonium bisulfate you can see in equation last two equations. So ammonia is in flue gas from SCR and SNCR is also observed on the fly ash. Scientist Zhao reports that 80% of ammonium present in the flue gas is absorbed onto the ash. The presence of ammonia causes a large number of ammonium salt to adhere the ash particles. As shown in these figures, there are significant increase of particle absorbed onto the spherical ash. The reaction of ammonia with SO3 takes place to a larger extent in the electrostatic precipitator ESP. The coronal discharge generated by the high voltage of ESP produce ozone which can be oxidized SO2 to SO3. Okay, now we come to effect of ammonia and ammonium compounds on WFGD process. So firstly, effect on PM2.5 emission. So scientists T. Cheng analyzed the migration of ammonium and ammonia species through pollution control device as shown in first figure. So the total amount of ammonia ion present in sulf sulfate slurry can be represented as a sum of absorbed gases ammonia and the dissolved ammonium salts subtracting the releasing ammonium as ammonium species formed through entrainment and evaporation of slurry. Ammonium removal efficiency by the WFGD was measured by scientist Tichang at 62.8%. NH3 due to its water solubility is effectively absorbed by the slurry. Removal efficiency of 89.1%. So the increase of ammonia content in the flue gas by the DNOx system might lead to rising ammonium emission from the FGD in the form of PM2.5. So after PM2.5 we come on effect on slurry and WFGD operation. SNCR is less efficient and more difficult to optimize and produce more unreacted ammonia. But SCR operation on the other hand is more precise and can achieve injection ratios closer to stoichiometric. So one reported concentration of ammonia in WFGD slurry was found being equal to 5679 milligram per liter. This concentration was said to be the maximum concentration. So slurry is being continuously discharged from the scrubber to hydrochlone batteries. In the first set of batteries, the underflow gypsum slurry is produced and transported to belt filter. Then overflow is buffered in circumambulation tank and fed to the second hydrochlone battery. The produced overflow from the second battery is raw wastewater and get discharged to treatment plant. The filter and washing from gypsum filtration along with overflow from gypsum hydroclones and overflow from water wastewater hydroclone are buffered in the filter tank. When NH4 plus is ammonium ion is introduced to the calcium sulfate solution, ammonium sulfate is formed through the reaction shown in equation, like ammonium plus SO3 minus form ammonium sulfate. Scientist Gao demonstrated that the ammonium sulfate has a positive effect on SO2 removal reaction rate as shown in equation SO2, these three equations. After that, as described by scientist Wang, both ammonium sulfate and ammonium bisulfate present in solution add to the total concentration in the slurry, which is beneficial to removal of nitrogen oxide by the mechanism shown in these last two equations. After that, we can see measurement of ammonia distribution in large scale WFGD. So first we talk about experimental values. So a study was performed on a single WFGD located in Poland, which collects flue gas from 4 boilers fired with hard coal. Each boiler is equipped with SNCR with 3-level urea injection and electrostatic precipitator ESP. The total flue gas capacity of WFGD is equal to 1.5 million Newton per meter cube per hour. So average urea consumption during the measurement period was 25,694 kilogram per hour. So measurement in the flue gas stream G1, G2 were performed to analyze the WFGD inlet ammonia concentration as well as ammonium concentration in the fly gas. Flue gas path and measurement point are shown in this figure, where you can see L1 to L5 process and G1 inlet and G2 outlet process. Measurement of the WFGD liquid and solid stream L1 to L5 were made manually by sampling and consistent of absorption slurry analysis L1, gypsum slurry analysis L2, filtrate analysis L3, raw wastewater analysis L4 and clean wastewater analysis L5. Continuous slurry pH measurement was performed by using a Liquiline MCM42 transmitter with pH probe. So coming to result and discussion part, the influence of ammonia concentration in flue gas on absorption slurry pH is present. You can see in figure 6. A slight increase in pH over time correlates to the rise in ammonia load upstream the WFGD. The increase of ammonium specific composition in the particulate matter at scrubber outlet is 3.9 times in average. So this indicates that SNCR systems have a substantial increase of ammonia slip in comparison to SCR. The difference between ammonium concentration between raw wastewater and clean wastewater can be explained by the operation of wastewater treatment plant during the wastewater neutralization process with hydroxides. A local increase in pH causes ammonia to be dissolved from the liquid. So in the end, the conclusion is large-scale limestone WFGD tests shows that ammonium compounds have negative effect on the sulfurization process. It is not like laboratory tests. So the substantial ammonia slip can raise the pH value to the slurry. It has an adverse effect on control system, causing decreasing the doses of free limestone. This can result in a drop in desulfurization efficiency. This presents an issue when the power plant is equipped with SNCR. The most of the ammonia slip is in the form of gaseous NH3. So moreover, the operation of WFGD significantly increase ammonium emission in the form of particulate matter.